One thing that I want to do with this channel is have it be a bit of a two-way journey. I've said multiple times throughout different videos how this is my journey into hip hop and rap, and so far I am really just enjoying the shit out of it. This has been so much more fun than I ever thought it would be. But one thing I try and do, it's getting harder now since I'm doing almost exclusively album reactions instead of single song reactions. Before, when I was doing just Tyler songs, single songs, if it reminded me of a rock song, I would mention it on the video and then, encourage you guys to go check it out. I've kind of gotten away from that. However, consistently, I still seem to mention Rage Against the Machine. And on the Late Registration album reaction, I mentioned that I think pretty early on, first or second track. And it occurred to me, that I posted a video for all the Playboi Carti fans and just how much love I've been getting from them. And I made him a playlist of Aphex Twin because some of his music reminded me of Aphex Twin, just in certain little ways. And I was like, you know what? I want to share this with you guys. And the response from that was pretty positive. I was surprised that there was so much response to it, that people actually did go and listen to the playlist. I think it's got, 300 and something likes, which is cool. And there are a lot of comments saying, oh, wow, I've always wanted to check out Aphex Twin, but I never got the time or didn't know where to start. So, in that respect, here is some Rage Against the Machine for you guys. I've mentioned this band numerous times. I feel like if you're a hip-hop rap person and you've always been, especially if you kind of like louder music, more aggressive music, but you've never branched over into rock for whatever reason, I've always felt like Rage Against the Machine is the super highway that exists between rap and rock. It's a rock-based band in terms of how the music is played, but the vocals are all in very much a rap style. So it's easy to blend those two together in this band. This playlist is not an all-inclusive, full, covering of what Rage Against the Machine has made and what they do. This is basically just a quick little playlist. It's 11 songs, just under an hour, of all of my favorite songs. Well, not all of my favorite songs. It's kind of a collection of tracks that I've always really liked, tracks that I think you guys will really like, especially if you're coming from strictly a hip-hop background. And then it closes out with some of their big hits that pretty much everybody knows. But I'm going to kind of go over these real quick with you. So the first one, Maggie's Farm. Maggie's Farm is a cover from a guy named Bob Dylan. He was a classic rock artist back in the 60s. And I always loved Maggie's Farm because it hits pretty good. It's pretty good, pretty loud, pretty aggressive. And at the time, I was in the Navy. And the lyrics, the chorus and stuff, I ain't going to work for Maggie's ma no more. I ain't going to work for Maggie's pa no more. When I was in the Navy, I was furious. I was miserable. I didn't like being in the Navy. Looking back on it, it was a better experience than I realized. But at the time, I was very unhappy. I used to just fucking crank Maggie's Farm. And when it got to the chorus, I would scream out, and I ain't going to work for the U.S. Navy no more. And it was just a great coping mechanism for me. It always just kind of helped me blow off steam. So Maggie's Farm, opening track on this list, is a great track. The second one is Darkness. And Darkness is the one I think I referred to in Late Registration Reaction. And Darkness has been a track that I found this to be very powerful ever since the 90s when I heard it. There's a verse in there, and it says, it's talking about AIDS, and how's it go? AIDS is killing the entire African nation with a vaccine that's still supposedly into preparation. But these governments, they don't mind the procrastination. They say we'll kill them off, take their land, and go there for vacation. And I always just thought that was fucking powerful. Super powerful. That struck me at a young age. It's always stuck in my brain. Great song. Something I also need to mention about Rage Against the Machine. So Tom Morello, the guitarist, every sound that you hear that sounds weird or funky, he's doing that on the guitar. Tom Morello is a renowned guitar player in the rock world, legendary across the board. Like, everybody knows who Tom Morello is. He has such a signature sound, incredible guitarist. So when you hear these different sounds, it's him. It's all him. It's not anything introduced to the track by, electronic means. It's just him on his guitar. And I mean, he's got pedals and all this other shit that he does, but it's him playing it, which is really impressive. The next two tracks, Bullet in Your Head and Know Your Enemy. I feel like anybody coming from the hip hop world is just going to get down with those two tracks. There's great bass lines, great lyrics, lots of power, energy, fucking killer tracks. Number 5 is Down Rodeo. I think Down Rodeo is my favorite Rage Against the Machine track. It opens up with the lines, "So now I'm rolling down Rodeo with a shotgun. These people ain't seen a brown-skinned man since their grandparents bought one." And Rodeo, if you're unfamiliar with Rodeo, that's one of the like the fancy streets in Beverly Hills or Hollywood or something like that, you know, where all the rich people live. Great song. There's another line in there that has always stuck with me, and it's, how's it go? "For 1,000 years they had the tools, we should be taking them. Fuck the G-Ride, I want the machines that are making them." And I feel like on the surface, probably people hear that and they freak out and they think, oh, you know, that's communism. They're trying to seize the means of production or whatever. And I think that's a fair interpretation, but I've always taken that line as, because when he sings it, he puts so much emphasis on fuck the G-Ride. And I've always taken that as fuck spending your money on these trifling things that are just shiny distractions from what we should be trying to do, which is invest in something that's going to help raise us up, instead of just giving all of our money back to the people that already have everything to begin with. Anyway, take that for what you will. That's how I've always heard that line. And specifically, you know, fuck the G-Ride. That's been an interesting line for me because it seems to clash against some of the mentality that does exist within hip hop and rap in terms of, you know, getting your chains and getting your shoes and getting your cars and all that shit. And I've had a hard time understanding that mentality. Like, on one hand, I get it. You make it big. You've got money. You want to spend your money. You want to enjoy yourself. But there's always this line that seems to be crossed from living your life and enjoying it versus just throwing your fucking money away on things that aren't that important. Anyway, there you go. Part of my journey is trying to understand that and get it, you know, in my head right. But anyway, Take the Power Back is just another banger. Freedom is the only live track I put on here, and I love Freedom because on the live version, he adds a couple lines to the lyrics that aren't on the recorded version. And there's a part where it's towards the end, and he says, for example, what does the billboard say? Come and play, forget about the movement. And he's talking, you know, just about how advertising is trying to distract us to, you know, with shiny things and come buy stuff so you'll feel better, so you won't focus on whatever movement is happening at the time, which I feel is incredibly relevant now, unfortunately. I mean, this came out in the 90s, and so that it's still relevant now is saddening. But on the live version, he adds a couple lines. He says, forget about yourselves. Forget about your culture. Forget about your history. You're just fine. You're just fine. So he's taking this idea and pushing it further, saying, when you turn your back on these issues that are happening and instead just go out and buy shit to make yourself feel better, you're forgetting who you are, your culture, your history, everything. You're just turning your back on everything. That's how I've always taken that. Great, great track. The Ghost of Tom Joad has always been one of my favorites ever since I first heard it. Tom Joad is a character from a book called The Books of Wrath, written by John Steinbeck, who happens to be one of my favorite authors. Grapes of Wrath, Mice and Men, Tortilla Flats, Cannery Row, East of Eden. Great, great books. And this song is a cover of Bruce Springsteen, I believe. But it's a great jam. They did a great job covering it. I've always enjoyed that track. And then the last three, Bulls on Parade, Sleep Now in the Fire, Killing in the Name of, those are very, very popular tracks from each album that they had that came out kind of back when they were big. Killing in the Name of is the big one, Killing in the Name of. That's the one with the chorus of fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. It's so easy to get amped up to that song. It's such a great song. But there you go. So the link, I use Spotify, as you guys can tell. I'll put the link in the description. If you guys are really motivated and you use a different platform, you can just kind of pull from this list, I guess, or just go to Spotify and copy it and then go to whatever you use and remake it. I don't know if you're that interested, but just wanted to share it with you. I think Rage Against the Machine is a very, very important band in terms of taking hip hop and rock and just kind of sticking them together. They do such a great job. Great vocals, great lyrics, great sound. They're a fantastic band. So if you've never taken the time to listen to Rage and you feel like you want to put something up loud, fucking, this is it. This is it for you. Anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoy it. If you don't, no worries. You know, not everybody likes everything. Maybe Rage isn't your jam, and that's fine. That's fair. All right, guys. We'll see ya.